corporate donation and champion funds.
Well, then where is the money in the budget, the capital budget, earmarked for that over a 3-year period?
Oh, that was there as a placeholder at the time. So the question for capital was, what would it cost to replace the turf field, to add the field house, which was something we were looking at the time. But since then, on the field house side of things, we found that there is other ways to potentially pay for it that don't come out of the school department.
Mr. St. James, I'd like to jump in for a second. Regarding any money that's going towards the field house, so that we are currently looking towards to get private funding for that. However, what we have found is they want to see that we have stake in the game. They want to see that we're going to have some money and we're not just looking for a complete 100% donation for the field house. It is kind of an embarrassment when other kids show up to run track or play football or something that we don't have restrooms. We have a couple of porta johns sitting out there. So we're trying to get that privately funded. And if there is any money that's being seen, from what I understand, is these champions and these other grant places, they want to see that we do have some kind of stake in the game and that we are serious about what we're doing.
So what's the real number that, I mean, you have on paper that you're going to dedicate a large amount of money over a 3-year period. What is the real number that the town's going to kick in for that? Personally, I just think with the list of improvements that were required in the report that was done by the school department, whether they totaled $100 million or not, I remember now, we can say that with a follow-up article next week, we had clarity. But there were a ton of things that needed to be done to the buildings that, in my own opinion, would be more valuable to the educational system. And if we don't need to put it in the budget for, the field house, why aren't we dedicating it to something for the school buildings and the classrooms?
Well, our turf, you're well aware, our turf field is deteriorating. We probably have 1, 2, 3 more years.
Well, I'm still not clear on how it got in the budget. So they didn't ask for it in there?
Yes, they did.
They did ask for it.
Yeah, it's in capital budget fiscal 219, actually 219. I thought you said you didn't. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong spot. No,
not for the turf field.
I'm talking, no, we're not talking about turf field. We're talking about restrooms and concessions.
Right, and the task was to take everything that's in capital that we can foresee over the next 6 years and project it out. So that field house piece was something that I put in there as a projection. We have architectural designs, we have pricing, and it's roughly $600,000. So I broke it up over multiple years, but in the meantime, we've also looked at alternate ways of funding. So it includes a lot of things over the 6 years. So that thing, that piece that's actually in, that was given as a handout, that wasn't the 6-year projection that I submitted. It's pieces of it, so it's not the full picture.
But in your defense, it shows here that you have a 3-year payment schedule. Your plan, you asked for 2,000. The 200,000. Excuse me, 200,000. Right. Yeah. Then it went to 150,000 to 100,000, which is the town administrator and the budget committee's recommendations. So there is a 3-year payment. What's scheduled there? Like, I don't know if you've seen it, but it's
yeah, I did, but I didn't understand where it came from, because what I said earlier was, I think there were many things, putting aside the professional report that was prepared with $100 million worth of Olivia things, the 5-year capital plan, which was updated periodically every year or every other year, had, millions of dollars worth of improvements, and I don't recall seeing concession stand, and I just don't know why we're not working off of some official document for the school department in a priority listing of what needs to be done to which building most urgently. That's all. You guys want to spend it on the field house?
You know what, believe it or not, I actually tend to agree with you. I would like to see this project funded as we're looking privately, instead of us having to come up with the, yeah, that's the goal.
yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't belong here.
If
What's
you're
that?
going to have sports over
What's
there,
that?
let's have bathrooms. There's not the forestry there isn't that dense
that they can run into that place. So I would, for the well-being of the students, have some place to, especially when you're entertaining another school. They ask where the bathroom is, they're behind the building.
Mr. President, although, I mean, I know that it does say concession stand on there, clearly, I would think that that is for the project turf field, which is going to cost us $500,000 or $600,000 very soon. I think it's
I don't think so.
That's not,
I don't think so.
that's not in it.
That's separate, because that was the number that we're looking at, right, for the bathrooms and the concession stand, 600, give or take. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have a question?
I just have a kind of a little side note about the concession stand in the bathroom.
All right. Your name is on the sheet, so I'm gonna, if you can just reserve that until you come up on here. Thank you, Mr. Lombardi.
Thank you.
Julia Labassiere.
Hello everyone, my name is Julia Labassiere. I live at 30 Winchester Ave. Recently I was emailed an online survey asking my opinion on the direction that the town should take. And my overall feeling was that there is this untapped commercial zone land potential, but how do we develop it while maintaining our rural and historic culture? That seemed to be what we were struggling with that survey. Well, my answer to that is we have to simultaneously invest into our community. And what better way to invest in our community than to our children? In the years since the middle school model was adapted, student morale and school rankings have risen to the top. The middle school and adjacent athletic fields were a very wise investment to our community, and the reason that my husband and I, who just had to leave with our 2 kids, moved here in 2013 to start our family. As Mr. Lombardi said, the 2018 U.S. News World Reports just ranked our high school 4th in Rhode Island with a 96% graduation rate. That's phenomenal. Power high schools like Classical and Barrington are number 1 and 2. These aren't just stats, they translate into pride, not only for each child reaching his or her full potential, but for our whole community. People are listening and taking notice. I'm an advanced practice nurse anesthetist. I work at Lifespan Physicians Group in Providence. A lot of my colleagues live in the Upper East Side and live in Barrington. You better believe they're talking about North Smithfield and all the progress that our school department has made in the last few years. Our education system is doing a great job. The superintendent has asked for an operating budget to continue this remarkable work. I support fully funding the superintendent's recommendations, and I hope you do too. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, your husband is Mark?
He is, yeah.
Okay. Yes, go on.
Yes, he's not able to speak, but thank you.
All right, thank you. Natalie OBrien.
Hello everyone, my name is Natalie OBrien. I live at 128 Old Great Road, and I have a few comments that I would like to make as a town resident and a parent of 2 students in the school system. First, I would like to echo the sentiments of a lot of the previous people who have spoken about how well our schools are doing. It really is incredible when we look at some of the accomplishments at the high school, for example, us being recognized at the national level, obviously being 4th in the state by U.S. News and World Report, and then our commended status, which really means that we are, taking great achievements with some of, really with all of our students, are really closing these gaps. When I went to graduation, it was wonderful to hear the speakers speak about the schools, and I take tremendous pride as being a teacher in the community and a resident in the community. But there's only so long that we can look at what we've accomplished in the past, and I think it's important for us to look forward, and I think that continuing to fund our schools would be incredibly important. So times are changing. I do think to continue our success that we've had, that we need to make sure that we fully fund the schools and provide our students with the best possible education. I do get worried about providing what would be some level of funding, but not what we really need to continue to grow our schools. I think the 4% is what I'm hoping that we will do moving forward. I do get nervous about what might happen as a result if that does not occur. For example, not having a full-time librarian got us on warning status for NEAS, and we came off of that for the 2017-2018 school year, and that's wonderful, but then if we lose a full-time librarian, then that just creates a cycle that might mean that a diploma at North Smithfield means less, which might mean that my property value decreases. I think that people move here because of the education, and it's only growing and growing, and times are getting harder to provide the students with the education that they need. I know at the high school level, we're not just competing against Mount or Henderson or LaSalle. Like, we need to be competitive so that way we don't have to tuition kids into other districts. And in order to meet these needs, it means that we have to fund the programs that we have. And to grow these programs, it's going to take money. And it doesn't seem like we should be, thinking about what we can do to just keep the status quo. It's important that, in my mind, that we keep going. I mean, our greatest commodity is our school, is our students, and we need to be able to meet the challenges. So I know that I think when people in the community, when I voted in members of the town council, I was hoping to continue the growth, to continue North Smithfield being a great district, and maybe what that means in 2018, 2019 isn't what it meant a couple years ago. So I hope that you've taken the recommendations to heart, and that you will, use the funding that you can in order to provide the best school system for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pamela Martin Mitchell.
Good evening. I'm Pamela Martin Mitchell, and I live at 808 London Pike, and I've lived there for 35 years. I am here today speaking and requesting that you fully fund our schools. I currently have no children in the school system. However, my daughter graduated in 2010 from our great school system. During her time at the school, she played 3 sports, attended the We the People national competition, and also was in the state competition with many children who went on to the national competition for National History Day. Without fully funding our schools, none of these things will ever be possible for our future students. Here, my daughter learned to be a self-starter, competitive, sportsmanship, being one of the first students to win the Hood's Good Sportsmanship Award, showing our school in a great light. She learned compassion, collaboration, critical thinking, and problem solving. Now in her adult life, all of these things have proved invaluable. Without fully funding our schools, this would never have been possible. I wanted to see the same for our future North Smithfield students and for the students we have now. By fully funding the schools, our students will have many different electives at the middle school and the new Pathways program that I've been reading about in the Valley Breeze. This will help them to have lifelong skills and allow them to succeed, exposing them to many things, and discover themselves and thrive. Our school department has great plans and visions that will keep our students current with the latest technologies. I wish that we would continue to promote student-centered education, and none of this will continue if we don't fully fund our schools. Please fully fund the schools at the level that the school committee is asking for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bill Nangle.
Hi, Bill Nagle, 3 Indigo Farm Road, Smithfield. In the last election, a group of us started a movement called Yes for Change North Smithfield. We worked with individuals who were less interested in the bitter feuding taking place in North Smithfield amongst our town leaders and more interested in changing the town's climate so that our small town could move in a direction towards growth and prosperity. We were successful and change occurred. Early on in the process, it was abundantly clear that several individuals who had been leading our town for the past 8 to 10 years had taken us down the wrong road. The use of National Grid windfall money to hold taxes or lower taxes seemed to be the way to go if your overall goal as a town leader was to just get reelected. Yes for Change looked at things differently by recognizing that the town should ensure that projects move forward. Projects that should have been funded along the way, not as wishful projects, but as necessary projects to keep our town moving in the right direction. As a result, taxes were kept low, and town buildings, roads, schools, and other infrastructure in our community continued to fall in disrepair. We now seem to be moving in the right direction. We have boards and committees working together to determine a path to excellence. We are not seeing and hearing the high volume of negative and sometimes personal and hateful comments posted online and repeated around town. Our elected and appointed officials are focused on creating positive change, and that is like a breath of fresh air. Well, I am not here this evening to tell you how to appropriate one dime in the next fiscal year's budget. I'm here to say that I think you're all doing a great job. You as our elected officials and some as our hired officials. I trust each of you to make decisions that you feel are in the best interest of our community. Now, we'll go to bat for each of you if and when the time comes for us to lend a helping hand. Yes, our town is in tough shape right now, and the need for additional revenues is a major priority. The sins of the past have caught up with us, and we will now be forced to make some very difficult decisions. Progress requires investment, which in turn requires appropriate funding. Standing still should not be enough for North Smithfield. I'd like to use some sports terminology to sum this up. I'm a strong believer that having the best of the best athletes on one team does not by itself lead to championships. Putting that many egos on one team has often, throughout time, proven to be disastrous. However, when you have a group of athletes who love their craft and are willing to work together for the betterment of their team, only then can championships be realized. I refer to this as the clubhouse theory. If all is good in the clubhouse, success can and will be achieved. I do believe that by working together, even though you have separate responsibilities, you will lead us to victory. However, you must believe in the process, stay the course, make those tough decisions, and only then will you move our town towards excellence. Thank you. Thank you.
Michael Rackett, 25 Mulberry Road. I think it's important that the audience and the council look at the budget committee report, especially page 2. It's nice to support budgets, but when you look at what the administrator is stuck with and what the budget committee is trying to balance, when you look at the major drops in revenue for both this coming budget we're working on and the following budget, I mean, these are major drops in revenue. This is not the normal $300,000 to $400,000 National Grid drop. This is like over $600,000 for this budget, $800,000 for the following year. Those are major decreases. The administrator has to balance the budget. He can't give everybody what they want. He has to set aside funds to offset this revenue drop. But not only that, but we also have some major building improvements going on, whether it's Kendall, Dean, Bushy, Elementary, or High School. If there's any budget overruns, it's going to have to come out of the town. If there's any shortfalls, budget changes, we're going to have to pay for those Kendall, Dean changes, or Bushy, or the high school. It's going to come out of the budget. It's going to come out of the contingency or the fund balance. So I guess we have to set aside money for contingency and fund balance because of all these major projects. And then in 2020, we're going to have the Hallowell decommissioning. Who's going to pay for that? It was supposed to come out of the elementary school bond, but they used the money, so there's no $500,000 to $600,000. It's going to have to come out